story, man, besides Caitlin, is everybody is wondering what's going on with the CBA negotiations. Now, Natalie Esquire did an interview today, and she spoke about the current state of the CBA negotiations. I want you guys to listen to this because I feel like this is very important information. As much as we, don't really talk about her a lot here on the channel, they do have insight on what is going on. So let's listen.
The league came back with 15%. 15. The players asked for 30% revenue share. They currently get 9.3%. And the WNBA countered with 15. That's not a negotiation. That's a dare. And what you just heard from Natalie Sequered and her co-host reveals something critical. We might be heading toward the first work stoppage in WNBA history right as the league hits peak popularity. Let's back up. Caitlin Clark just dropped new workout footage, and she looks locked in for both Team USA and the 2026 season. But here's the problem. There might not be a 2026 season starting on time, because while Clark is in the gym preparing to dominate, the league and its players are stuck in a CBA negotiation that's going sideways fast.
I've not heard. Caitlin Clark is back in the gym getting ready for two things. That's Team USA basketball, and that is the return of the 2026 WNBA season. Now, we know Team USA basketball is about to kick off in about 3 to 4 weeks, man. They will be heading to Puerto Rico to make sure they bring home that World Cup basketball championship, man. Many people have been saying that they don't think Caitlin Clark's going to start. She's going to be coming off the bench. Well, I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Caitlin Clark is
That's the contrast everyone's missing. Clark is training for Team USA's World Cup run in Puerto Rico, which starts in 3 to 4 weeks. She's hitting shots off the dribble, working 5-on-5, getting back in her bag after the offseason. Her trainers wearing CC gear. The hype is building. Everything points toward the WNBA capitalizing on its biggest star and the momentum from last season's record-breaking ratings. But none of that matters if the players and owners can't agree on a new collective bargaining agreement. And based on what's leaking out of these negotiations, we're closer to a lockout than most fans realize. The league's latest proposal didn't just miss the mark. It insulted the players' intelligence.
Reporting by the Sports Business Journal is that on the latest proposal, because the WNBA did come back with a proposal, the revenue share split was not beyond 15%. Yeah. And the PA previously asked for 30%.
And they currently have 9.3% right now.
So they still trying to get this 30. So we all know that 30% is what they've been trying to get. And as of right now, I don't think that they're going to get it, which lead me to believe we're that much closer to a lockout, bro, because the owners are not budging. They're not going to give them this 30% that they want.
So it's one of those ridiculous, it's an increase, but
Here's where it gets messy. The league is technically correct that they addressed other concerns. According to Sports Business Journal's reporting, the WNBA's proposal included 37 improvements. Team charter travel, which players have been demanding for years. Pregnant player trade consent, which is a genuine quality of life issue. League passes for players' families. These aren't nothing, but the owners know exactly what they're doing. They're checking boxes on secondary issues while refusing to budge on the one thing that actually matters: money. It's a classic negotiation tactic. Give ground on everything except the core demand, then act surprised when the other side won't accept it. The league is betting that fans will see those 37 improvements and think the players are being unreasonable for holding out over revenue share. Don't fall for it. Revenue share is the entire ballgame. Everything else is window dressing.
Come on, it's
nominal at best. And in some ways, it almost feels like the league is daring them to strike, because if you come back with a proposal that makes no kind of movement on the key issue, and I do understand the league's perspective, because they feel they came back and they addressed some of the other concerns. There was a whole checklist here. They have 37 improvements, and so yeah, a lot of people did get a kick out of the whole league pass thing, and they were making fun, but there were some real things in there, related to team charter travel
Yep.
and pregnant player trade consent, other things that really do matter to the players.
Now this is where the timeline becomes a nightmare. The WNBA Players Association recently posted video on their Instagram account showing when NBA players went on strike at NBA All-Star Weekend. That's not a coincidence. NBA All-Star is coming up soon, and there's reporting from Sports Business Journal that a WNBA player picket line at that event could be the next move. Think about what that means. The players would be using the NBA's biggest showcase weekend to make their case to the public. Maximum visibility, maximum pressure on the league, and maximum disruption to the carefully managed narrative that everything's fine. But here's the real problem. There's still supposed to be an expansion draft for Toronto. There's still supposed to be free agency. There's still supposed to be a rookie draft. And this year, unlike any other year, the WNBA season is already going to be condensed because of FIBA international play. The league planned to take a couple weeks off mid-season so players could compete in the World Cup and other international competitions. So if the season gets pushed back because of a work stoppage, you're not just delaying the start date, you're compressing an already compressed schedule. You're potentially interfering with international commitments. You're creating a logistical disaster that affects multiple federations and broadcasting agreements.
So, as you guys can see here, Caitlin Clark is putting in that work, man. Hitting shots off the dribble, looking very, very magnificent. As she looked like she's working out by herself. I don't see any other members from the Fever basketball team there with her. And as you guys can see here, she's definitely getting back in her motion and getting back in her bag. She's been posting a lot of stuff online. Bree been dropping a lot of photos, man. And I'm excited to see.
And meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is just working. She's not involved in these negotiations directly. She's focused on getting ready to represent Team USA in Puerto Rico, and then dominating the 2026 WNBA season whenever it starts. The footage her photographer Bree captured shows her in mid-season form already, shots off the dribble, full 5-on-5 runs, no other Fever players visible, just her and her trainers grinding. She even teased new signature shoes on social media, responding to speculation about whether they're tied to the Parent Trap movie. Quote, "Never confirmed what those were, LOL. Don't worry, I have super cool stuff coming this season too," with the laughing emojis. She's treating this like business as usual, because for her, it is. She shows up, she works, she performs. But the business side of the league is threatening to derail all of that momentum. And that's what makes this situation so frustrating for fans who just want to watch basketball.
And so from the league's perspective, they're probably feeling like, well, we came back and we gave you some things, other asks that you say are important to you. Also, according to reporting from SBJ, there's a sense that a WNBA player picket line could be the next move, potentially at NBA All-Star. I find it interesting that the Players Union recently posted on their Instagram account video discussing when the NBA players did a strike at the NBA game, at NBA All-Star. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. The closer you get to when that starting date is supposed to be and no agreements reached, it just seems unlikely for the start date that they're planning. But it also, to me, increases the likelihood of some kind of potential work stoppage, Tarika.
Let's talk about what 15% actually means. The players currently receive 9.3% of revenue. They asked for 30%, which would bring them in line with other major professional sports leagues. The NBA players get 50%, NFL players get roughly 48%. Even MLS players get around 25%. The WNBA countered with 15%. That's a 5.7 percentage point increase from the current deal. Yes, it's technically an increase. Yes, it's more money than before. But it's nowhere near industry standard, and it completely ignores the reality of what these players have done for the league over the past 2 years. Last season's WNBA ratings were up across the board. Caitlin Clark's games averaged over 2 million viewers on multiple occasions. The playoff games drew massive audiences. Merchandise sales exploded. Attendance records were shattered in multiple cities. The league is more popular and more profitable than it's ever been, and the players are the reason why. So when the owners come back with 15%, they're essentially saying, we see the value you've created, we see the money you're generating, and we're going to keep most of it. That's not a partnership. That's exploitation dressed up in corporate language about sustainability and long-term growth.
There are so many things that still need to happen between now and the time that a season starts. There still needs to be an expansion draft for Toronto and Portland. There still needs to be free agency. You still got to set the date and time for the actual rookie class draft. And this year is not like any other year, because this year is a year in which FIBA play is happening. So the league is already expecting to take a couple of weeks off during the season because those players will be needing to play in the FIBA competition. So pushing a season back not only implicates the things that have to happen before the season, but could also affect the scheduling in the season with international play that was already going to be condensed. And it feels like this was something that people were trying to avoid. So if they really want to avoid that, they need to figure out how to get the CBA.
The Players Association is in a tough spot. They can accept a deal that's marginally better than what they have now, knowing they're leaving massive amounts of money on the table, or they can hold firm, risk a work stoppage, and potentially damage the league's momentum during its biggest growth period in history. Neither option is good, but here's the thing. If they cave now, they're setting a precedent that will haunt them for decades. The next CBA negotiation will start from this same position. The owners will know that the players will blink first when it comes to actually disrupting the season, and the revenue share gap will never close. That's why the Instagram post about NBA players striking is so significant. The Players Association is signaling that they're willing to go there. They're studying the playbook. They're preparing their membership for the possibility of a work stoppage, and they're trying to build public support before it happens. The league, meanwhile, seems to be betting that fans will blame the players for any disruption. They're counting on the narrative being, these ungrateful athletes are holding out for more money while fans just want to watch basketball. They're hoping the 37 improvements in the proposal will make the players look greedy for focusing on revenue share.
Done.
Absolutely.
That is the update that we got from the CBA negotiations, man. And just like I stated, the way it's looking, bro, it's looking like it's about to be a work stoppage. I want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section right now. Make sure you guys keep them bells on. I will be back with more content. And until next time, man, shake the haters off. I'm out of here, bro.
So where does this leave us? The closer we get to when the season is supposed to start with no agreement reached, the more likely we're looking at a delayed opening or a full lockout. And that's not speculation anymore. That's people who cover these negotiations professionally saying out loud, this might not get resolved in time. Expansion draft for Toronto might not happen on schedule. Free agency, delayed, rookie draft, pushed back, and the actual season, who knows? The FIBA commitments add another layer of complexity because you can't just shift everything back a few weeks. International basketball doesn't work that way. Those dates are locked in years in advance with multiple countries involved. Here's what makes this situation particularly maddening. The WNBA just had its best season ever. Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention to the league. Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, the entire rookie class elevated the product. Veteran stars like Edja Wilson and Breanna Stewart proved they could share the spotlight and still dominate. The playoffs were competitive and dramatic. Everything aligned perfectly, and now, at the moment when the league should be capitalizing on that momentum, building on that success, and preparing for an even bigger 2026 season, we're talking about work stoppages and lockouts and picket lines at NBA All-Star Weekend. It's self-destructive, it's short-sighted, and it's entirely preventable. The math is simple. The players generate the revenue. The players are the product. The players are why fans buy tickets and merchandise and watch broadcasts. They deserve a fair share of the money their labor creates. 30% isn't radical. It's reasonable. It's in line with every other major professional sports league in America. But the owners see the WNBA differently. They see it as a long-term investment that's still in its growth phase. They see the losses the league has absorbed over the years. They see the subsidies from the NBA that have kept the WNBA afloat. And they think, we took the risk, we deserve the reward. That might have been a valid argument 5 years ago. It's not valid anymore. The WNBA isn't a charity case, it's not a vanity project. It's a legitimate professional sports league with real revenue, real ratings, and real cultural impact. and the players who created that value deserve to be compensated accordingly. The 15% offer isn't just low, it's insulting. It shows that the owners fundamentally don't respect what the players have accomplished. They're treating this negotiation like the WNBA is still the struggling league from 2010, not the growing, profitable, culturally relevant league it became in 2024 and 2025. And that disconnect is why we're headed toward a work stoppage, because the players know their worth. They see the ratings, they see the sold-out arenas, they see the merchandise flying off shelves, they see Caitlin Clark becoming a household name, they see the Nike deals and the media rights deals and the expansion franchises selling for record amounts. They know the money is there, so when the league comes back with 15%, the message is clear: we don't think you're worth what you're asking for. And the players' response is equally clear: then we won't play. That's where this is heading. The Players Association posting about NBA strikes isn't subtle. The reporting about picket lines at All-Star Weekend isn't speculation. The timeline crunch with expansion drafts and free agency and FIBA commitments isn't theoretical. This is real. This is happening. And unless something changes dramatically in the next few weeks, we're looking at a delayed season at minimum, and possibly a full lockout. Think about what that means for Caitlin Clark. She's training right now for a season that might not start on time. She's preparing to lead Team USA in Puerto Rico, then come back and dominate the WNBA, and there's a real chance she returns from international play to find the league locked out. All that momentum from her historic rookie season, all the new fans she brought to the sport, all the attention and excitement and growth, potentially stalled because the owners won't agree to a fair revenue split. It's not just about the money, it's about respect. It's about recognizing that the WNBA's success isn't happening despite the players, it's happening because of them. And 15% doesn't reflect that reality. So what happens next? If the Players Association follows through with a picket line at NBA All-Star Weekend, that's the nuclear option. That's them saying, we're willing to make this uncomfortable. We're willing to disrupt the narrative. We're willing to use the NBA's platform to force this conversation into the mainstream. The league will hate it. The NBA will hate it. Some fans will hate it, but it might be the only leverage the players have. Because right now the owners are betting that the players will cave. They're betting that the desire to play basketball, to compete, to entertain fans, will outweigh the principle of fair compensation. They're betting that 37 improvements on secondary issues will be enough to get a deal done. The players are betting differently. They're betting that fans will understand why revenue share matters. They're betting that the public will support athletes demanding fair pay for the value they create. They're betting that the league needs them more than they need the league. One of those bets is wrong, and we're about to find out which one. The season is supposed to start in a few months. The expansion draft is supposed to happen soon. Free agency is supposed to open. The rookie draft is supposed to be scheduled. None of that can happen without a CBA in place. So either the league moves significantly from 15%, or the players prepare for a work stoppage, or someone blinks at the last second, and we get a rushed compromise that satisfies nobody. Those are the options, and none of them are good for the sport. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is in the gym, working, preparing, doing her job, because that's what she does. She can't control the CBA negotiations. She can't force the owners to be reasonable. She can only control her preparation and her performance. And based on that workout footage, she's going to be ready whenever the season finally starts. The question is, will there be a season to be ready for?